Hi, I'm Ralph, and these are the results for week 12 being on the carnivore diet. Let me start out by giving you a few statistics like I normally do. Then kind of give you a little bit of an update from last week's video where I talked about the WISE SMART scale, and then another observation that I made this week that you might find of interest. We'll find out. First, let's get to the stats. Last week, I lost 1.8 pounds. That's pretty good. However, during the week, about 3 of those days, I'd actually gained weight. And 4 of those days, I was actually higher than what I was the previous week. So it wasn't until the last couple of days that I actually got back into a position where I was losing weight. Overall, my weight is down 31.4 pounds for the whole 12 weeks. And that's awesome. That's a new record low for me. So that's totally awesome. But it just lets you know that what goes on during the week is not necessarily how your week is going to turn out. Don't lose hope if you gain weight. Don't lose hope if you gain weight 3 days in a row like I did. Other things are going on. So I want to encourage you to stick with the program as I'm sticking with the program. Now, a review from last week where I talked about the WISE SMART scale, and I kind of had some negative things to say about that. Now, I haven't thrown it away. I haven't given it away. I'm still using it because I thought it would still be useful just for the taking the weight aspect of it. But I did try something different that helped. See this? This is a cutting board that we picked up from Walmart, I think. I think my son actually probably picked it up. You actually buy them in packages of 4. I'm sure that they're dirt cheap. We don't actually use them as cutting boards. But if you take something like this and you just slip it between your knees, maybe the thighs, it solves mostly a lot of the problems I talked about. Where on a lot of the SMART scales, you're not supposed to let your knees touch because they're sending a small electric current through your body, and I think that may be kind of short-circuiting the process, and it's making the trip back faster, so it can't read all the details. But if you put like an insulator between your legs, especially for those of us that are a little bit heavier, the more obese you are, the more you're going to encounter thighs and knees touching. This just happens to kind of save the day. Now, does it work every single day? No, because there are other factors involved. I'm not quite sure what those other factors are. Those other factors may involve things like your feet are too wet, or your feet are too dry, or it just doesn't like you that day. So no, I can't say that I'm able to get a reading other than weight every single day, but I can get them most days. So that really does help. So if you're thinking about buying a SMART scale, and I know it's not just the WISE scale, because people told me in their comments that they're experiencing the exact same issues with their scales, some of which were even more expensive than mine. Not just the having to keep your knees apart in order to get those extra features, but also the fact that when you're trying to keep things apart and you're kind of balancing on the scale and the weight starts fluctuating, you have to take multiple readings. When you got an insulator between your knees, you stand on it, you get off, you don't have to worry about getting on and off and on again because you're able to stand steady and get a consistent weight. So that really does help. So if you've got another one of those SMART scales and you're having the same issues that I had, and if you want to know more about those, catch the last episode, week 11, and we talk a whole lot more about this. But that's all I'm going to say on that, except one of the readings kind of caught my attention. When you're gaining weight for several days in a row, you start thinking, I know that there's probably something else going on in my body, but is there something I can do to maybe kind of help get me out of that kind of plateau or the gaining? And you start thinking about things. Well, I started analyzing the information because you guys know I'm kind of an analyzing, freak about stuff like this, a nerd. One thing that caught my eye was fat percent has changed, but also the muscle percent, which is read in pounds, also changed. So part of the time, I wasn't just losing fat, I may have also been losing some muscle. It's real easy to put the fat back on. It's not real easy to put the muscle back on. I'm thinking that just diet alone probably isn't going to cut it, because I gotta be honest, I have not been real faithful with the exercising part. That takes a little bit more dedication, and quite frankly, I've been kind of busy and stressed, and I just haven't really been doing that part. That tells me that exercise and diet are going to go hand in hand. You just got to probably do both. Otherwise, you're going to run into the same situation where I am, where I may be losing some muscle. Now, the smart scales may not be the most accurate for telling you how much muscle or how much fat you're actually losing, but I think it's probably still useful for catching the trends. If I'm showing that there's some muscle loss, maybe the amount of muscle loss percent or pounds is not accurate, but the fact that I'm losing some, that fact might be accurate. So I'm going to have to look into this a little bit more and see how I can alter things that I'm doing. So if you've got a smart scale, check those things and see if you're encountering the same things that I am. One more thing that I kind of discovered this week I find of interest. I'm not sure. I'm going to have to do some more research on this, but I'm just going to throw it out there, and maybe somebody out there has some more information that they have looked into this more. So leave comments down below and let me know what you guys know about this. Apparently some research has been done. As I'm recording this, a lot of controversy about maltodextrose, if I'm saying that correctly, in Element has been coming out, where they've been putting a little bit more than what they said they were into the flavored versions of Element. Now, I haven't used a lot of Element, but I do have some and I do use it. I don't know how big of a deal that is. It got me thinking. I do drink quite a bit of sparkling water. 0 calories, natural flavors, does not list anything like stevia or aspartame or anything like that. It is like the Waterloo brand or the Kroger sparkling water, which basically just says carbonated water and natural flavors. I've tried to find out how much information I can about what they mean by natural flavors, and the Waterloo site does talk about this a little bit more. It kind of sounds like they're using more actual fruit-based flavors, but I need to look into it some more. I'm going to try to do some actual testing of the water. Again, I'm not sure how big of an issue that is, but while I was looking into it, I discovered some other medical research that really caught my eye. It was talking about diet drinks. And now I'm not just talking about, sparkling water, but any kind of diet drinks. The 0 calorie, sometimes you're going to use stevia, sometimes you're going to be using aspartame or whatever other artificial sweeteners that are out there. And so people are drinking diet drinks, even if they're not on carnivore, because they think it might be a healthier choice, that they're reducing their sugar. And apparently some of these artificial flavors, artificial sugars, can also be affecting your insulin spikes and ghrelin, the hormone that controls hunger. But I looked into it even more. This might be a bigger issue, because apparently not only do the artificial flavors that artificial sugars that they're putting in might be affecting the insulin spikes just as much as regular soft drinks do. The carbonation, they're putting carbon dioxide into the sparkling water. That's where the carbonation is coming from. And they've done some research through Kaiser Permanente, and I need to find out what other research there is out there. But they discovered the carbonation itself, regardless of whether you have sugar or no sugar in there, may actually be causing you to gain weight. They have done some research where they had lab rats that they were feeding their normal rat food, plain water, artificially sweetened carbonated water, and just regular carbonated water. And they also were doing the same test on a group of young men. they discovered that carbonation actually itself may actually be causing some weight gain. So the best choice, if you're on carnivore and you're not experiencing the weight loss that you are hoping for, but you're drinking some of these sparkling waters, especially some of the sparkling waters that have artificial sugars in them, that might be contributing to the problem there. So you might try cutting those out and just drinking straight water. Not sure. I'm going to try to do some more research, and I'll get back to you on this. If anybody else has already seen these studies or done these studies, please leave comments down below and inform the rest of the group here for us, and be super helpful if you did. I really appreciate you guys. Hopefully you'll give me a subscription. Please leave me comments, and let's see what we can do about forming a community down there in the comments section. With that said, I will catch y'all next week. Good luck to everybody. Bye-bye.